The Aquaman 2 trailer just released within the last couple of days, the last of the DCEU movies before James Gunn's reboot is set to start. The thing with Aquaman is that the first movie with Jason Momoa is the highest grossing DCEU movie to ever come out, at $1.1 billion worldwide, and yes, that's billion with a B. The first and only DCEU movie to cross the $1 billion mark at the box office. But the sequel is not shaping up for that level again. It's easy to just say that Aquaman 2 won't make as much money because of the law of diminishing returns, and we can make a very good point with that, but there are other reasons for why this movie will most likely fail at the box office, so let's take a look at those reasons. Let's not beat around the bush with this one. Every DC movie released post-2021 has bombed, including James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. The defense for The Suicide Squad underperforming was the fact that it was released day and date in theaters and on HBO Max. The same argument was made for Wonder Woman 1984, but Black Adam reportedly lost anywhere between $50 to $70 million. Unless if you ask Dwayne Johnson, then it made anywhere between $50 and $70 million. Shazam! Fury of the Gods and The Flash underperformed so badly that those movies were rushed to premium VOD to recover their losses. In fact, Blue Beetle as well has underperformed so badly that movie is being rushed to premium VOD, and it's going to release, I believe I read September 19th is when Blue Beetle's coming to VOD. In fact, The Flash is the first major release to release on the blockchain. Yes, The Flash released as an NFT, but The Flash also lost Warner Bros. Around $200 million at the box office. Blue Beetle, while everyone is saying that the movie itself was decent, had a lower opening weekend than Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam 2 opened to $30.1 million domestically. Blue Beetle opened to $25 million domestically. But, according to some outlets, Blue Beetle only bombed because Hurricane Hillary was ripping through Southern California.
You serious?
No, I am not joking on that point. Some media outlets legitimately blamed a hurricane for why Blue Beetle didn't do as well at the domestic box office. And there's other external problems facing Aquaman 2, but we can't ignore the fact that the DCEU post-2021 has been a disaster at the box office. James Gunn and Peter Safran were announced to lead DC on film after Walter Hamada's exit from the position in 2022. The first thing that this dynamic duo did was announce a reboot of the DCEU. The problem with the timing of this was that there were still 4 movies on the release schedule: Shazam! Fury of the Gods, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman 2. James Gunn also announced that his reboot is going to begin with Superman. And why is this kind of a big deal? Henry Cavill announced on his Instagram just prior to Black Adam releasing, or I think just after, that Warner Bros. Was going to bring him back into the fold as Superman.
Hey everyone, I wanted to wait until the weekend was over before posting this, because I wanted to give you all a chance to watch Black Adam. But now that plenty of you have, I wanted to make it official that I am back as Superman. And the image you see on this post and what you saw in Black Adam are just a very small taste of things to come. So there's a lot to be thankful for, and I'll get to that in time. But I want to thank you guys most of all. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your patience. I promise it will be rewarded.
Then, on December 14th, 2022, this was posted to Henry Cavill's Instagram, quote, "I have just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. There's no reason to go into the second paragraph here. So, while Man of Steel was controversial, Henry Cavill was beloved as Superman. Fans won't forget the fact that he was done dirty by this move. The fan favorite Superman is not returning. No thanks. I'll pass on James Gunn's Superman because it sounds like they wanted to get a newer actor because the new actor would have been cheaper than bringing Henry Cavill back into the fold. Aquaman 2 is bringing this shit up again. The Amber Heard Johnny Depp defamation trial. Remember, Johnny Depp was asked by Warner Brothers to step away from the third Fantastic Beasts movie after the allegations first came out against him. The common theory at the time was that Warner Brothers had fired him, but allowed him to publicly, quote-unquote, walk away to avoid the embarrassment. Now, after it came out that Amber Heard had made the whole thing up by using makeup to create fake bruises, was she fired from Aquaman 2? No. After the 2022 trial where her lawyer objected to his own question...
You didn't know what could cause damage to Mr. Depp's hand while you were there on March 8th, correct?
Dr. Kipper told me he'd sustained an injury on one of his fingers.
Objection, hearsay.
Wait, you asked the question.
Okay.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Was Amber Heard publicly fired by Warner Brothers from Aquaman 2 after the 2022 trial? No. So, just like how Ezra Miller brought down The Flash, Amber Heard will bring down Aquaman 2. It doesn't matter if this is going to be the best superhero movie ever made. The Flash wasn't a bad movie, and I can say that because I've seen The Flash for myself. But there was no getting around the controversy of Ezra Miller. James Wan can come out and do all the damage control he wants by saying that Amber Heard isn't going to be a main focus in the sequel. The fact that Johnny Depp was publicly fired over false allegations by Warner Brothers, but Amber Heard wasn't, is going to be the iceberg to sink this proverbial Titanic. In my opinion, even with the Ezra Miller controversy and Amber Heard controversy, Warner Brothers is just releasing these movies to fail. Even Blue Beetle got very little marketing, even though the main star wasn't getting into any controversy. Shazam 2 hardly got any marketing as well. These last DC movies are playing out just like what happened in Mel Brooks' The Producers. Forgive me, I have not seen the 2005 remake. I'm only familiar with the original with Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder, but, same. Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder gave away so much of the profits to the investors, 25,000% to be exact, that they went out and bought the worst script, hired the worst director, and cast the worst cast for the play. Now, the joke of The Producers was the fact that the play became a huge hit, despite Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder wanting it to bomb. That's what all of this really just seems like. Just put these last DC movies out there into the world, don't market them so that they bomb, that way Warner Brothers doesn't have to pay anyone anything, because do you really believe that Jason Momoa was not going to get a cut of box office returns? If you don't think that wasn't going to happen, what delusional world are you living in? The problem with this approach is it's going to hurt their reboot with James Gunn. The DCEU has been such a clusterfuck that the average audience probably won't even give Superman Legacy a chance because Warner Brothers didn't care about any DC movie released after 2021, so why should the audience care? And honestly, the topic of the DCEU being a complete clusterfuck can be a whole video in its own right. But I'm actually curious to know, guys, are you going to go see Aquaman The Lost Kingdom, or are you going to sit it out like you've done every DC movie at this point? So I'm going to go ahead and end it right here. If you guys stuck around this long, thanks so much for doing so. If you've been following me on, you know I'm terrible at ending these videos, so I will just see you guys next time.